The following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness Last Orders, the podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and actresses would rather forget they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me as always are my co-hosts. She has been hiding out in a catamaran after being threatened with a wobbly bit of piping. It's Bernadette.
I don't know who sent the invitation, but it sucks.
Oh yeah, because it was pie. And he is allegedly a master of Greco-Roman wrestling and looks great in a leotard. It's James.
Everyone looks great when they've got an electric cattle prod.
The Prodmaster 3000, or whatever it's called.
The flexible shaft.
Yeah. The lesser-known Shaft film. Follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great and on Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness. Or you can email us through at hallmarkofgreatness@gmail.com. How are we all doing? It's warm, isn't it?
Very warm, all of a sudden as well.
I've had to shut all the doors and windows so we don't get external sound leaking in. And yeah, it's automatically gone from nice and cold to sweating up a storm.
Yeah. Thank you all for the warm birthday wishes, by the way. That was much appreciated.
Yeah.
I got given a book by my partner's brother, who's also confusingly called James. That's from 1390, and it's called The Form of Curry. And I thought you might like to hear some of the recipes that are in it. I'll read one.
I haven't got a jingle for James's recipe section.
It's amazing because each recipe has a kind of like Bob Mortimer, like, and release. And it's always, and serve it forth. Take rabbits and smite them to pieces.
You have been
Tongue
smoked.
opener. Parboil them and draw them with a good broth with almonds blanched and brayed. Do therein sugar. Do therein.
Yeah, I don't like that. That sounds rude.
With powdered ginger and boil it and the flesh therewith. Flour it with sugar and then with powdered ginger and serve it forth.
And there'll be another one of those next week.
It is insane.
A lot of sugar and ginger on a rabbit.
Yeah. It took me a while that it was actually a rabbit because they've got weird names. It's like a Caningis or something like that.
Yeah. But why would you put sugar and ginger on a rabbit? It's been candied rabbit. Anyway.
Fuck knows.
Because you said the other day that rabbits have like negative calories, so you have to have something else.
No, they're not negative calories. They're just zero nutrition.
No, right, okay.
God,
all them rabbits I've been eating. No wonder I've got fat.
No, there was genuinely like a load of Canadian loggers or something died in such and such a time because all they ate was rabbit and they died of like lack of vitamin poisoning or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to have some leeks, some cheese. General stuff.
In that recipe book, it's spelled geese as in Gees because they hadn't formalized any spelling. It's all
I like
it's another
like
wild ride. Yeah, it's great.
In no way related to that is this week's film, 1986's Never Too Young to Die. Starring a very young John Stamos and a very weird Gene Simmons. Your synopsis, please, James.
Never Too Young to Die, 1986. In order to save her father's calico fabric dyeing business, young Jacinta Spoonworthy enters the workplace under the assumed name of John Johnson, complete with a mustache and full array of locker room talk. Incidents ensue, clothes are made, and thieves are exposed.
That sounds very familiar to the last Hallmark of Greatness one we did, actually. Which poster did you look at?
I went for the one where it's just the two of them with a gun and like the backlight.
Yeah. It's cracking. She's in a wedding dress for some reason.
Well, John meets Mary at a discotheque and they're enjoying a night of frivolity until the night takes a sinister turn, where the revelers are hunted down and killed.
Oh,
Mary...
what? Oh, sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
I would watch the fuck out of that. That sounds very much like there's a yeah, go on.
John and Mary must team up and find out who is behind it all. But Mary has a secret. Can she even be killed? Because I put the white dress as she was an angel.
Oh, you just want Fabio to appear again.
No, seriously. Because I didn't read anything about it. I just went straight to the poster and I thought, right, I'll write it from that.
I think it's called Green Room, where like a punk band ended up getting chased around by a load of Nazis trying to kill them from a couple of years back. Quite good. I would watch the crap out of that. That sounds ace.
Feel like the Purge in a nightclub in Solvivo. Solvivo.
The actual synopsis for Never Too Young to Die. A top secret agent is murdered, so his estranged son, a high school gymnast, teams up with his dad's attractive female partner to stop the psychopathic hermaphrodite gang leader, that's all the words, who killed him and now plans a major terrorist attack with Freddy Krueger.
Stargrove. Remarkable young man.
Thank you.
You know, there are from time to time some small assignments.
The new American hero.
Go! Where have you been shooting lately? Libya?
The finest disc.
You mean the one that your father sent?
He inherited all of his father's enemies. And just one of his friends. John Stamos is Stargrove.
Having a loot job.
Ooh, I think I'm falling in love.
Vanity is Danja.
Give me the disc!
Any idea who could be behind this?
Ragnar.
Gene Simmons is Ragnar.
Yeah!
Trade a wet kiss for this?
The sting of death.
We're hot. Where the red starts turning into the blue main.
I'm impressed. You really are Stargrove.
Excuse me! Oh, shoot!
Glad Stargrove.
The only one standing between life and death in a brave new world. Stargrove, never too young to die.
I think we should do it again.
Yeah. Mate, this is an amazing film. I don't know who it was aimed at or what it was trying to rip off, but the stunt work alone is tremendous. Everyone rides motorbikes that have got horses on them.
There's a high turnover of motorbikes in here.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say, to anybody who's who, as unlikely as it may be, is a hermaphrodite who is listening in, just buckle in for this film.
Anything we say is not besmirching you. This film is very confusing in its approach to androgyny. And
it gets increasingly strident.
Towards the end, it gets very sort of abusive.
Well, I'm a whole man.
Yeah,
that bit.
yeah. You neither one thing or the other. Let's get into it. We open on what appears to be a quarry, because it's cheap to film and you can blow as much stuff up as you want in a quarry. Everyone's shouting, Ragnar!
We have a camera pan across the city to a Mario tube first. The Mario tube is where the quarry is.
That's like weirdly underground or something. And yeah, there's a load of like sort of desert punks or marauders or whatever you'd call them.
Yeah, there's an issue here because a lot is going to centre on the town's water supply, but there are actually flames coming out of the ground. So I think that's, I don't know, a fucking concern.
Their worries is the water at this point. When fire comes out of the ground, that's their water shall be found. That's one from your book.
Ragnar addresses this band of punks. Does anybody know what he says at the outset? What's his first line?
I was just like, oh my God, it's like a bad Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror.
I know, I imagine him going, how do you do?
I'm being summoned. I'll stick my tongue in your mouth.
He's at this point, he's channeling Tom Baker, one of the early Doctor Who's, and 70s Dylan. And he opens with My Little Turd Balls, which, interestingly, and I'm going to put this in very early, I was watching this with Finnish subtitles because that was
I couldn't get rid of the Finnish subtitles on mine.
So that comes out as Omat Piku Koko Palaloksi, which is amazing that we've got. The Finnish must be so confused by this film.
He has a weird thing of calling his punk followers like horrible names all the way through it, which I guess is supposed to be like an S&M thing, but he's clearly more into it than they are. Because as soon as the fighting starts, a lot of them fuck off straight away. Very slowly, they fuck off. But,
as is tradition.
So you've got Gene Simmons in like a... Imagine this, if you will. Gene Simmons in a Scouser wig and like a sparkly leotard, leather jacket, looking like a bad Frankenfurter impression. Looking like a non-union Tim Curry. Yeah. And they bring out some woman tied to a cross and put her in a hole. And they're after the R-disc? K-disc?
Disc.
Ram K, that was it.
Is the disc, I noticed at this point that one of the punk's shirts says Keith.
I mean, it's a punk, you know. It can't all be called Spike and stuff.
What we've got to kind of consider at this point, and you've touched on this a little bit, is that Gene Simmons is the only person that really cares about this film and is right up here.
It's 100% intensity all the way through it,
way down there.
Well, apparently now he hates this film. And he's like, I was terrible in that film. I'm like, you're kind of the best thing in it for me. Yeah.
Best one, isn't it? Yeah.
Especially with your stick-on beard.
He did his best.
If he wasn't in it, it would not have been the same.
He said that, and this is bleeding into James' facts, but he did say that he got the script for this and didn't realise like there was a second page and that he was actually supposed to be two people, and even one of those people is like got different personalities and stuff like that. It's a mess, and he just picked it up and then realised his error and just had to roll with it. I was going to say an amazing job. A show-stopping job.
So they put her in this ditch, and they're like, where's the disc? And she's like, I'll never tell you. And then he notices that in one of her earrings contains this weird logo, sigil thing. So he rips that out, and then they all go, give her the finger. Oh,
a moving finger. But he has undone her clothes with the finger beforehand.
Yeah. And he's got one like metallic fingernail that's razor sharp, but during non-murder scenes, he's not got like a cork on it, because that's just going to lead to accidents, isn't it? When you go to the toilet or whatever.
He does, because in like the final showdown scene, he like unsheathes his finger from.
I mean,
don't look at me like that.
The new Earballs going to get a lot of wear.
I can't see what it is. You must have like a kind of finger scanner or something. I don't know.
It's just like all drag queens have one deadly finger, and you just got to be really careful.
Well, he's not a drag queen. He is a hermaphrodite.
Well, at first, you don't know he's that.
He's half a drag queen.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they.
Half a drag queen, half a drag king.
They've written this character that's a hermaphrodite
without any knowledge of what that entails.
Also gender bending, and also tries to get off with everyone with the massive Gene Simmons tongue.
I don't know how anyone would be into that. But he goes. He recognizes the sigil as the work of Stargrove, his nemesis. And then he fingers her to death while all the crowd look on and cheer.
Fucking hell. I thought his murderous finger is way better than Dieter's thumb from the last film that we watched.
A lot of hand-based murder in this. Yeah,
it's not the type of fingering you want.
He stabs her in the throat with his sharp finger. And she dies. They all cheer. And then we cut to the opening of the film Jim Carter, it would appear.
Yeah, it's very varsity, isn't it? As a campus, there's sort of people mooching around, and it's the younger Stargrove. So you're sort of like, oh, it can't be this Stargrove.
See, just having a muck about on a trampoline.
else on that trampoline?
I think they put a lot of money into this. One
They
of
did
the
for the
things I
effects.
noticed is that the gym master, I don't know what the term for it is, the gym instructor?
Gym
the
master
coach?
is bad.
I'm very, very tired. He isn't very helpful at all. One of his instructions is whirl it, Stargrove, which doesn't make sense. Whirl it. Do the whirly dirly. Fire. Get good.
Whirl it. That's my technical like gymnastics term. Oh, that's good whirling on the trampoline.
It's like your PE teacher, isn't it?
How do we want to introduce the song? Because the song is a work of art.
I've been humming this all day. I've just worked out how to play it on guitar. It's fucking beautiful.
Headed to the danger zone.
Yeah, it's a monumental piece of cheese. It's amazing. I love it. But all this is happening while people are doing stuff on the pommel horse. He's jumping about on a trampoline. Two lads are having a wrestle, a Greco-Roman wrestle on the floor.
Flying like he's never flown.
Bro.
Running through a danger zone. Are you gonna stand alone? No more rhymes, so
Couldn't get a fourth one out of that, no. The two wrestling lads are looking at him going, oh, you should do a more manly sport like wrestling. And he goes, nah, you're all right. And like does that boink up their face thing and walks past, and everyone goes, wow, he's a cool dude.
And they never appear again. I thought
His
they were
nemesis.
going to
Nope.
appear somewhere. In fact, there's a lot of characters introduced in this first establishing bit with the university and everything. It's got like a kind of Animal House.
All we care about is his best friend, who is a poor man's non-union dater from the Goonies. What's he called? Cliff.
Yep, real name, Peter Kwong.
We've got a Kwong. You're never more than 5 feet from
Kwong
a Kwong.
in the house.
Who is basically his budget version of Q throughout this film. He gives him his latest invention, which is some chewing gum with a tracking device in it. So you have to chew the chewing gum with the chip in there.
No, he cheats in his exam in the thingy, and Cliff gives him something, and he's got a little Casio watch.
That was during the Stargrove, though. All that wasn't it?
Are we not still on that?
It was sort of like in the outro.
in the coda, repeat the fade. Yeah.
Yeah, in the third movement of Stargrove, the theme.
Yeah.
I couldn't work out what exactly was going on there. So
I was like, why has he got a Casio watch? Telling him numbers.
Because there's like stuff counting down and everything.
He's cheating at his maths exams with Cliff's help. Because Cliff is like a weird, obviously stereotype nerd. He's got a computer on with a load of gibberish on it. He gives him this. He's got the fire blazer,
which he introduces fairly early doors, which he says is a combination of lasers, a sling, and explosive petrol. But what it really looks like...
It looks like two super soakers glued together. And he's like, oh, I've perfected it now, so it won't explode and kill us all. I'm all right, Cliff, to be honest, mate. I'll just use a regular gun, if that's all right.
Yeah, why is he not on some sort of list or something?
It was the 80s. It was before.
I felt like he was. I do feel like he's a very recognisable character. He's like that weird kid at school who's always trying to hold that anarchist cookbook. He was that sort of kid.
Well, he's clearly the genius of the operation with this.
He's invented, a bugging device that's in some that looks like gum. And I've put that Cliff, it seems to proper fancy him because he puts a lot of emotional investment in this man that just Lance Stargrove. I'll call him Starlad from now on to distinguish him from his dad.
Stargrove Senior. Who we cut to? Because he's like, oh, I don't see my dad. He works for an oil company.
Yeah, all he does is he sent a care package, and Cliff has got something back by at least stealing his stuff.
White chocolate with almonds.
His dad troubleshoots for a big oil company, which is immediate red flags. Even if that was a legitimate job, that would be terrifying.
But he says Libya, which was the hotbed of terrorist activity at the time.
And then everything feels rather sad.
Well, yeah, he's like, my dad never did anything with me. I've not seen him for years. He's kind of a jerk. And we cut to his dad, who is George fucking Lazenby, everyone. Clearly phoning this in, doing it for the pay packet. And he is running about in an abandoned steel mill, it looks like.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the hydroelectric dam, but I don't
It's
know.
just generic pipes.
There were a lot of pipes, so yeah.
The industrial zone
with
Crystal Maze.
Richard O'Brien said it up at some point.
And he's with a man who could clearly stick on beard.
Oh, they spent all the money
On the
on the
explosions
effects,
of which
so.
there are many. Yeah, but it's like, don't speak so loud, your beard will fall off. And another random man who we don't care about.
He comes out with a few interesting pieces of dialogue, such as "Showtime, citizens," and "Follow the leader."
All of these men
Clearly,
would have been wearing red jackets from Star Trek because you knew they weren't going into
They
the
reach a
next
dead end, and so they get some C4, which is just blue tack. They blue tack it to the wall. They put like an LED torch in there, but apparently C4 is in no way sticky, so it falls off the wall. George Lazenby has to run round the corner, puts it back on, and then nearly explodes himself. And everyone's like, "Wow, you're a hero!" And I'm like, "It still would have blown a hole in the wall from the ground." Like, how much room do you need to squeeze through, Lazenby?
It's like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I mean, both in terms of acting, but also the character. It's multi-layered. They didn't get Lazenby.
No, this is he's doing this to pay a tax bill, isn't he? But then the man with the fake beard attacks Star Dad and shoots him in the leg with his Uzi that only fires one bullet at a time, despite being
What's the point of it?
Lazenby gets all jam up his leg, and the beard guy runs off. So Star Dad and this other guy spend a long time just tending to his wound.
Yeah, they don't spend a lot of time. Star Dad has shot up quite a bit from all of this as well, and he doesn't seem to notice until a little bit later on when it's convenient for plot reasons. But yeah, and then the punks get unleashed. Amanda, they get
Lazenby
unleashed.
says,
"It's
a disco nightmare."
Which is, I didn't pick up on
not
that.
Disco, is it? Like,
what the fuck is he
if it all
talking
been
about?
in platforms and flares and stuff, I could be like, I'm on board with that. The Disco Strangler, yes, but they're clearly all Mad Max enthusiasts, yeah.
Yeah, he battles them by drawing an
bulletproof,
umbrella,
apparently.
which they laugh at. They laugh at it because he draws it, and then he shoots them. And they have a good old laugh at that umbrella as well. Oh, fuck it, umbrella. And then he shoots them. So that's a lesson to anyone about laughing at umbrellas. And then
there's a lot of grenade thrown about and people jumping off what appears to be the set of Star Crash. But eventually the bulletproof umbrella gives way. He tosses it aside, makes a run for it. After, cover me, to the other guy. The other guy goes through a hatch. He follows him in. Random guy.
And then gets all mango.
Random guy has had his throat
neck.
slashed.
Yeah.
And then, dun, 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 Ragnar appears. Because spoilers. And chases down Stardad. And he's like, "Oh, my leg, it hurts." And then he literally shoots him with a gun so powerful, it makes Stardad do a complete 360 backflip.
Yeah.
Which from that distance would have propelled Ragnar into the wall as well.
On that basis, I assumed that it was a t-shirt cannon.
It's like Maud
At
Flanders.
close range.
Yeah.
And then there's a funeral scene after that. Yeah, he dead. And an old lawyer who again
never seen again.
come into it at all after that, called Arliss, which isn't the real name, consoles him, but he doesn't care anyway because he's too busy eyeing up a hot babe widow who's turned up to this funeral with a kind of like see-through black veil and she's got a
very
bra on.
inappropriate clothes for a funeral.
Yeah.
You can see her bra.
That's not all you see in this film.
And a bit of leg. Yeah. And then I put, is this shot done by Guns N' Roses?
It's very. I'm surprised no one threw soil on the coffin and was like, yeah. But he gives him saying you own a farm in, I want to say Idaho now or something? Ohio, sorry.
Ohio.
So he goes back to the dorm and Cliff's like, oh, you're a farm man now. Let's go and check it out.
Oh, yeah. So there's a cut to that farm as well, which has a horse. Some kind of big stable. And the hot babe who's
parking the
riding
horse
it and is being watched through binoculars.
It's being watched through binoculars.
Another trope.
Yeah, takes the saddle off the horse, walks into a barn where chickens descend from the ceiling.
Well, that's where they hang out.
Someone's yeeted them up there.
They can flap a bit.
They can't get above
they?
head height, I'm sure.
And the Stargrove
okay,
chickens,
yeah, maybe he's
so
juiced them. Yeah.
They've all got trampolines.
And then there's a man who's later revealed.
Oh, I called him Wolfface because I'm sure she called him Wolfface.
She calls him
Wolfface.
Right, because I thought it's like Taserface from Guardians.
Hot Babe is called Danger, but will be referred to as Hot Babe for clarity.
And she keeps ripping her clothes, so she is Hot Babe, isn't
both,
she, really?
in sexuality and temperature.
Oh, you're talking about the 500-degree heat she's subjected to later on. So this man walks into the stables wearing a bandana, a skull belt buckle, and some sort of trouser braces that go up his front and round his neck.
Yeah.
And evil glare.
And he's like, you're coming with us? Oh, wait, no, he wants the disc, doesn't he? He wants the RAM disc. Yeah.
He wants the RAM K. Everyone goes on it. That's all anyone's ever concerned about in this film. Is RAM
because
K,
they need the RAM K to mix the nuclear waste with the town's drinking water.
Yeah. Thus polluting it forever. And the point of this actually is to get ransom. They end up just doing it
that
anyway.
part, he's too far gone, hasn't he? Like, pyramids, yeah, anyway.
May as well just do it at this point. Ragnar's intention for doing that is because he wants gold, jewels, and money. And that's
it. That's all he needs, yeah. Not power, not like, no.
She says that she's got a nasty temper, although, as I pointed out, she looked frankly quite tired. And he attacks the horse with a whip, or possibly a nunchuck, and then she leaps against the wall and presses a button, and that wall swings
like
down
a Scooby-Doo villain.
To show a rack of guns, and then it spins around again, and she's got an AK-47. She was on the wrong side for that.
She grabbed one and she went round on the inside. It's like number one, isn't it?
Oh, does she?
Rotira Dastro. Yeah. Your man Star Boy appears, and the line, I'm going to tenderize your butt. I'm not sure by it. I think it's Pyramid Head who says it.
Yeah. She calls him Wolfface. One of many insults.
The horse makes a run for it, and she goes, run, Black Star, which I think is where David Bowie got the title for his last album from.
I'm not sure that horse is ever seen again because
it's an Uber horse, mate. It just
a lot of motorized equipment.
It'll go where it's needed.
2 minutes away. Its name is Kenneth.
I must say though that there's a lot of lumping of explosive materials together in one place.
A box of grenades.
A fire starters. Because a box of grenades is near some gasoline. Somebody thought that was a good idea.
Barn, isn't it? Yeah.
She must have missed the health and safety.
Do not store your explosive next to other explosives.
Oh, it's okay if you just pack some hay in between.
That's not flammable. So the barn explodes.
Her shirt opens up for some reason.
She's spent the entire next scene walking about with no top on because she's got a slight cut on her arm or something. It's like, you don't need to. It's fine.
It needs to breathe.
They're walking around their house, well, his house now, I guess, which is his star dad's old house, with the world's loudest cricket chirping in the background.
It's got a nice kitchen.
Nice kitchen.
I like that kitchen.
Yeah. But the kitchen also comes with kitchen gun. Stored up inside the extractor fan is a full automatic rifle with scope and sight loaded, which is dangerous.
You couldn't fit that in my hood.
Lengthways, but she pulls it downwards, yeah.
And it'd be full of dust and grease.
I don't think Dad did a lot of cooking, to be honest.
She takes off her shirt for some reason. I think she's putting a plaster on her arm, as he said. And then she says, I'm going to find out everything I can about what happened to your daddy, which is a weird way to phrase it. And then she shames him about having a complex relationship with his recently deceased dad before the kitchen siren goes off.
A car is approaching. She grabs the kitchen gun, but instead of putting her shirt on, she just carries it with her into the next room. She looks down the scope of the gun and sees that it's her handler or brothers. Yes.
Yeah.
Brothers. Fuck off.
I know. Isn't that the alligator name from Beano?
Possibly.
But yeah, he pulls out. There's also, I've noticed that the house also has a shrine to the Buddha in front of what appears to be a medieval tapestry, and everyone's very careful around that, as though that is actually the owner's property and they don't want to damage it. It's also got a gun cabinet, so she walks.
Kitchen gun's got a sight on it, mate. All the other ones are shotguns in that gun cabinet. Because when he opens it and randomly just starts firing it later on. Brothers is like, we found out sort of what's happened, but we need you to fucking do some bullshit to further the plot of this film along. Oh, then we also get I think this is where we cut to. Is this where we first see Robert Englund?
I don't know what he looks like, so
he's the tech guy who stood there going, "We need the disc all the way through it." Because I'm fairly sure he says, "Thimble, thimble, who's got the thimble?" Which is not a song or a rhyme anyone's ever done before, ever, either. And we're introduced by the Carruthers to Ragnar the Hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gigging at some bar called I've forgotten the name.
Foundry or Ignition.
Don't think I got it. I
was going to say Incendio or something about
yeah. The sign is very difficult to read because it's all neon.
It is. Yeah.
But they turn it off when the acts are finished.
And
they turn
all the horse
sign
ponies go home.
I've put as well that Carruthers looks like he's got his own jazz club. He's just got
doing this
really dodgy beard, boring hair. Nice. She changes into some clothes for once, into some fake medieval armor.
That's what I thought. Oh, she's put her armor on.
This whole central V stabbing section is left open. So, yeah.
She's fine. You're not going to die from a stab to the heart, are you? But her arms are very covered.
Have someone's eye out with that, yeah.
He wants to go along, doesn't he?
No, I have to do this on my own. But I'm very easy to follow.
Yeah, and I don't understand how he does follow her because he just seems to have outran her.
He's on a dirt bike, isn't he?
Because he's there first.
He arrives on a dirt bike.
It must be the first dirt bike.
So many bikes.
That's the one that explodes.
Yeah, he arrives on his dirt bike as she's walked into this bar in the incendiary or whatever that looks like a fucking nightmare to get a drink in, doesn't it, really? Because there's people riding bikes.
Because it's a car park. It's a multi-story car park.
There's people riding bikes around. There's people fighting everywhere. I'm like, this is I just wanted to come in and have a quiet gin and tonic and then sit down, do me Sudoku.
My favourite bit is where she's in the lift with a guy on a bike. And he just like, rips out of it.
Yes. Also, she's massively out of place in there in a medieval armour. Everyone else, again,
That's right. If you're not wearing a leather jacket, you're not invited.
There's some graffiti on the wall that says Paul. Which would be
Paul and Keith.
That's Keith.
Keith,
he gets served by a drag queen, and I quite like
Lily Savage has gone right downhill. Yeah.
Does sassy very well. Hot Babe orders a Bloody Mary and a cigar.
Yeah, because she's well hard.
I don't know why
he orders a lube job.
Did we find out
I don't know,
is?
but I think that's what got Lily. I think that's what got Lily Savage excited because she's like, if you.
Does she even bring the drink?
I mean, I don't think she was great at her job. She might not have even been a waitress. You know what I
mean? I got confused at this point because the crowd are shouting for Velvet, which is the performer's name, but I heard it as Helmet. I was like, I've got no.
It could either be the band Helmet, or it could be the former Chancellor of Germany, Helmut Kohl, which would be interesting. Yeah.
What a reference! Yeah, it's actually Ragnar and his stage regalia. I've put, why is this descended now into RuPaul's Drag Race? Lots of pelvic thrusting.
Because she's lip syncing
well.
for her life.
Yeah. Velvet spots these two up on the balcony and like glares at them, but then finishes the song.
Yeah, got a reputation to uphold.
It's a very
while all this is
song.
happening, Pyramid is fiddling with the dirt bike outside. We don't see what that is, and
a woman sucks Ragnar's nails.
Yeah, he's got big, long glove fingernails on. Which I'm like, are they on the glove, or has he cut holes in the end of his glove to get his big fingernails through? We'll never know.
Either way,
that
it's not
costume as well. He's wearing a sort of like a fairly open bodice type costume. That turns out that it's the person who played Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. She had that costume when she performed with Kiss in 1980. I've got written down. So that costume might be Gene Simmons.
But also, all the facts here.
Cliff, Peter Kwong, also did star in Wonder Woman in 1977. So it might be a link that way as well. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a whole.
I just thought he did very well because them headpieces are always like they're meant to be really heavy.
His entire career has been wearing like ridiculous stage gear, so I'm assuming he's got pretty strong neck muscles and stuff. Star Child is now he's like, I'm going to go and speak to Velvet and find out information that I can. He goes in to meet them. He goes and puts chewing gum. The tracking chewing gum on Hot Babe's car for some reason because he's already tracked her there. So
yeah, I don't think that's ever followed up.
Yeah, this is what confused me because then he uses it again, and I'm sure Cliff only.
Well, the second one isn't the second one that he goes and meets Velvet, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan. Can I have your autograph?" And Velvet goes, "Can you get me the ink off that desk?" And then goes, "Oh, time," and he goes, "Is that supposed to mean something?" And I'm like, "Oh, the Stargrove gambit didn't pay off there, did it?"
That proper made me laugh. This is when I put down the pen and I was like, this is an awful film. I need to give it my full attention.
He's amazed that tactic doesn't work as well. Like, oh, no, it's not Stargrove. He didn't
it's
respond.
As if he was last to go, me?
While he's getting signing it or something, he puts some chewing gum with a bugging device into like a moose's nose, is it? It's on the wall. Well, not like one that's just wandering around, like a stuffed and mounted one on the wall. And he leaves. He tries to make him kiss him, which, again, weird. Yeah, he leaves, and then he's lurking outside with a bin while,
he's listening
Ragnar has got a bug detector from somewhere.
Always need one handy.
And
I'm sure he's humming the Stargrove tune as well.
I mean, that would be mad, wouldn't it? If he was Stargrove, doing all the things and stuff. Stargrove, twirling up trampolines.
He flushes it down the toilet, which causes massive feedback on the other end where Starlad is listening in, and he says, "Son of a bitch," which I've now got the Finnish for, which is "Kuze."
I like it. I hope they say it like that in Finland as well.
Oh, you're going to look like a right dick over there.
He goes to get on his bike, and a big drunk punk rock bike dude is like, "This is my bike now." Gets on it, starts it, the bike explodes. All the health and safety punk rockers come out and put the fire out. Leather-studded fire extinguishers and stuff.
But they weren't needed because that punk was fine as far as I can tell.
He's blown off it, so even if Starlad was on it, he'd have been fine. He'd have just got
a nasty shock. Yeah.
And a few singed hairs.
And then
not with smooth my balls.
We're not advertising, James. Stop it. And then the next day, he's riding another bike, a sports bike.
He takes Cliff's.
Too many bikes.
He asks Cliff where he's going to take his. I don't even think he asks him. He just says, "I'm going to have your bike." So he's tracking Hot Babe on the Stalker app. And he just.
All right. I wonder where he got that other bike from. But he's got another bike later on.
And he says you may not ever see it again. And I'll be fuming.
Okay.
Like,
I love you, Starboy. And they're racing along, and there's a pretty good chase sequence here. To be honest, I quite enjoyed this.
Oh, it's a bit over the top.
But it's good. So she's in her, I think it's a Porsche. He pulls alongside it, and then two bad slags on horse bikes appear because for some reason all the bikes have got like carved wooden horses, like a ship has like a figurehead at the prow front.
So they're going for that early medieval theme, aren't they? With Ragnar?
Oh yeah, I guess
People have like ridiculous medieval stuff as well as like a mace and a
the
morning
time he
star.
pokes him with that axe instead of just swinging at him with it. It's unreal.
It does shit all except unbalance.
Throw it into the front wheel.
Really
They've done better. Yeah, so they chase him along, Hot Babe does some good stuff, weaving in and out of a car, or even out of a...
Incredibly fucking dangerous stuff of going... That trick that everybody's learned by the 80s of like going into the middle of the truck. And
she pulls out...
She looks incredibly calm under that truck as well.
She's just chilling there.
Did I leave the oven on?
Oh. That was why the truck driver is drinking scotch
on headphones, not through his radio. Maybe his radio's broken.
That's because he can't hear what's going on behind.
Lazy shorthand. Yeah. She pulls out this massive Smith and Wesson like gun.
That's the car gun.
The car has one. It's in the glove compartment. Yeah. And proceeds to shoot the two guys that are gently poking Starboy on his bike. Just gently like, ow, get off. Shoots them both. And then they pull over and have like a bit of a discussion.
Yeah, so it starts out him apologizing to Hot Babe for getting angry when she said stuff about his dad earlier, which I thought was totally reasonable. He jettisons Cliff's motorbike, doesn't even get told.
Leaves it in the desert with the keys in.
Like Cliff later on, like, oh, that's what happened to my
bike. You won't get back, Cliff.
Well, no, Cliff turns
made
up on
that
another
that's
bike.
custom bike that he was working on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Means nothing to him.
Starboy just throwing other people's shit away, like, yeah.
Bit of a non sequitur here because they have that sort of, denouement, he apologizes and everything, clambers into the car, abandons Cliff's motorbike, and then they start arguing in the car all over again about stuff, about how stupid he is, even though she's just been under a truck for no reason. And she reveals that her family was saved by Stardust.
Dad had saved her, and then I'm assuming had some sort of sexual relationship with her because she's very broken as a person.
Well, yeah, I mean, earlier he says that he screwed up and clearly his dad
something like that.
her.
But then, the cast of Mad Max Thunder Road show up.
What with the halberds?
I'm surprised no one's got a trident or something, They surround them. Hot Babe fires the rest of the bullets in the gun and shoots some random people, but there's just too many of them. They throw a big net over her and take her away.
Like the thing with Froggy from Always Sunny.
And put her in a thing and take her away, and then they just bop Starboy on the head, I think, don't they? Because he wakes up at home like that, goes into the kitchen to wash his face, and then gets his face repeatedly mashed into the sink by two bad slags.
That's an interesting way of putting it. I don't know how he survives from that because they break the sink.
And I'm sure the homeowner was like, "Well, that's a Belfast sink. You know how hard they are to come by in America."
He's only got a little cut on his head from all his ramming into the sink.
I didn't even give him time to
and then he goes, "Eat this tomato!" Starts feeding him with tomatoes.
This baby tomato.
I put that you fucking hate that because it's a cherry tomato. I know.
I like baby tomatoes. I don't like big tomatoes. I don't like the stalk bit in the middle of tomatoes. No, but
nobody does.
Tomatoes are fine.
Well,
so if he said to me, "Eat a whole tomato," that would be more terrifying than a cherry tomato coming at me.
They also whip him and ask him to kiss my whip.
And they throw him around, and it's clearly not him. It's a stuntman in a wig. They throw him into the cabinet where his dad's medal thing is. The same logo that woman had in her ear is on a thing, and he touches the coin, and his karate powers activate, and he uses his trampolining twirling skills to...
My God, all those things those coach taught me to do.
The Stargrove theme kicks in at
the
this point as
dramatic,
well.
And he beats the living piss out of them both. He throws one through a window, who survives, and then another one, he slaps about some more, and then finds out where they've took Hot Babe, and then chucks him through the same window, but a bit higher, so they get more destruction on that window as he goes out. They both get into their sort of dune buggy thing.
We've got a lot of those.
And he just grabs a shotgun out of the thing and randomly starts firing
He fires
it
quite brazenly.
for no reason, because they're well out of shotgun range at that point. Yeah.
He could have took a life there.
Starboy quickly learns that he likes killing, and he's good at it as well.
They all do.
He then goes to his dad's sexy velour bed, and does he press a button or something? And it
No, so he drops the
magic medallion.
And it rolls into a specific crack in the floorboard, which opens up
secret underground sex dungeon.
Shed. I paused it a lot at this point. It took me about 5 or 6 sittings, by the way. I finished watching it today because that's how long it took me. Daddy had a purple heart. Actually, it dates to 1978, and I tried to look up what that might possibly be. And it's either Lebanon or the Cold War generally. So there's a thing. He's got some silver stars. He's got a lot of them as well. And he's got what appears to be a Victorian locket in the middle of all of that. He's also got some signed portraits of LBJ, JFK, lots of pictures of horses. And I've written something down that I don't quite fully understand.
There was a lot.
I've put reading gnome. He does. He has a reading gnome. There's a gnome. Good God, a gnome.
He has just drawers full of guns as well, which is not safe.
It's cool.
And walls full of guns. He just loves guns.
Stargrove finds his flick knife and then raids his dad's confidential
looks at it, goes, puts it back, opens another one and goes, puts it back. Before the house proximity detector goes off and the campest Power Ranger anyone has ever seen approaches on a bike.
It's as if Ronald McDonald had sex with a matador.
He comes in with the flame blazer? Fire blazer. He comes in with that, but
it's a made-up
Starboy is too thingy, so he jumps off the balcony onto him because he's got his bike helmet on. And he's like, "Don't, it's me, your best friend, Cliff. Let's kiss." But obviously don't.
He reveals that his dad sent them the disc and it was in that care package, which is why I was keen to get that in earlier. It's no visual reference to it at all. So it's clearly very lazy.
It's a basic 3.5-inch floppy, isn't it? Yeah.
He says that it's necessary because the Ragnar's trying to poison the water forever.
And then they're like, right, well, let's go and get Hot Babe then, because we know where she is. She's at the foundry that... Oh, I thought it was a foundry that gently heats metal. This is where we meet Robert Englund, who's like, we need the disc to do this. He's that guy that's stuck near the big blue wall thing, yeah.
Terminals and talking about Diablo Canyon and
they arrive at the I don't want to say smelter because it's not really smelter. It's like the metal warmer-upper factory, and they've tied Hot Babe into either a trash compactor or like an incinerator or something. And they're like, "Tell us where the disc is, or we'll set you on fire." And she goes, "No." So they're going to set her on fire, which defeats the object of torture, doesn't it? Because you're not going to find out the information, and she's dead. No.
They're not good
but it's
at
very
torturing.
slow acting fire in
Well, no, because that needle goes right up into the orange, doesn't it? Like.
So I was confused by the needle because it was a 1 to 5 needle. I was like, what, 5 degrees? But it actually does say underneath in hundreds or something. So, yeah. So at this point, it passes. At the point they turn up, it's already on 300
Right, so she would be very dead.
Yeah. And she's just going,
help me, Starboy.
Well, no, because that's what we've been living in all week, and we're not dead.
I feel like I'm dead on the inside, but that's just standard day-to-day living.
They take on the goons. Does anybody want to talk about Cliff's approach to taking on the goons?
He just fucking shoots them all. Oh, Cliff uses the flame blazer. He fires it, and it kicks fuck out of a wall. But
he's got a battle noise, though.
Yep, that's the noise he makes. That's the noise that will instill fear in your enemies and confidence in your allies. That, yeah.
That's the noise of evolution. When he's in the shopping mall and he's going, caca, ducky, ducky. That's that noise.
I believe that's the sound of an Irish monk being beheaded by a samurai.
No, that's a very different pitch.
It's not far off.
Oh, fuck me.
Welcome to Hallmark of Greatness Last Orders, where we just press buttons and listen to. Oh, what, the thingy one?
Where he jumps off the castle. Oh, no, that one's very different.
You could make a song out of
Yeah,
this.
we've got Christmas.
Then go, Star Grove in the middle of it. Star Grove.
Christmas number one.
That does introduce, though, it introduces the fact that he's got a very temperamental fire blazer thing, because it just goes pew after that and shoots out this little.
But it still explodes.
Thing.
But whenever he fires it, because it's not clearly not an actual weapon, it's like someone pulling this explosive out the end of it with a bit of string. It tends to fire, hover in the air a second, and then go on its way, which is it's a fun thing. Yeah, but he shoots all the things, then literally not concerned with conserving ammo at this point because they're just firing bullets willy-nilly at anything that moves. And he beats up the guy outside the incinerator. She's not even sweating in this oven as well.
No, and the needle has passed 5, meaning 500. So she would be a pile of hot babe ashes at this point. It doesn't actually say Fahrenheit or Celsius, so...
It could be pressure, you don't know.
5. Well, they are trying to crush her at the same time, because I thought that was a bit of a weird double move. We're going to burn and crush you.
But he beats them up, he unleashes her, and then goes to take the chains off her, which should be 500 degrees hot. But no, they're fine. He just takes her off. More goons appear. Cliff's gun is absolutely wicked, and they escape on his motorbike, and they hijack one of the dune buggies, I believe.
Yeah, they blast their way through the wall. It's just the answer to everything. Everyone in these films finds their way of releasing. Is either kicking, punching, kicking again, or this. They race off towards the bikes, the quad bike things, and there is a member of the crew just standing there watching it in a t-shirt and jeans. He's just watching. So that was a thing. And then it cuts to a meeting in a projector room with Carruthers and other Secret Service types.
Yeah, chats with the big wigs is what I wrote at this point.
And a statuette of a horse.
Well,
I don't know why it's there. It's like the whale from Fatal Deviation.
All linked. They're now staying under surveillance, and they're going to be used as bait to lure out Ragnar.
Yeah.
Oh, in the
sex cabin of sex.
We'll get to the sex cabin. Stardad is revealed to have said that there was a traitor within the organisation, so they're all sort of
especially each other, and not the guy whose beard keeps falling off every 3 minutes.
Just a human. And yeah, so then it cuts to Starlad and Hot Babe hanging out in a garden of this sort of chalet.
It's got like a weird sort of it's like a chalet. It's got like a weird patio bit at the side where she's sunbathing.
They do really noisy snogging.
That's gross. No, but there's all the bit before it.
Oh no, so she does try to kiss him.
They have noisy snogging first, and then
he's like, "No, I'm not going where my dad's been," which is understandable. It's weird, isn't it? And then she's like, "Oh, but you will."
Yeah, he accuses her.
I'm gonna do some.
Rub cream into my
lie down on this Shazy Longui, and then rub cream in my thighs, and then on my top, and then muck about with my garden hose for a while.
Well, she takes her top off, and he goes and gets an apple because every man knows that is the way to calm down an erection. Go and eat an apple.
He drops one because he starts boiling.
Well, she takes the bikini top off at that point, and he drops the apple, and he fucks off and goes and gets another apple, and that's the point where he comes out, and she's all like, "Oh, look at me in this sexy hose."
I'm playing with my hose.
Well, she's washing off the lotion that she's just applied as well. So that was useless. He emerges with a Britvic at one point as well. Just like,
coming out stuff from
anything
the
to stop
kitchen. Do you want this apple? Put your top on, Miriam.
it. There's a fucking weird bit as well where they intersperse different scenes really quickly.
That bit where I was like, this is they're going to go and do a sex. Oh my god, I just had an epileptic seizure watching this.
I put it as to weed out the epileptics.
Yeah, it was so fast.
They do like a very long and horrible sex scene where you.
Yeah, but we've got sexy jazz music, but we can't hear them snogging at this point.
You do see her boobs in it, because of course you have to in this thing.
Plus, she seemed desperate to get him on camera.
I think she, I remember reading that she was a singer, like a pop singer.
Yeah, we'll get to
And then
that.
she's like, get my back out in this film.
She's a minor star.
This was on the ups.
A girlfriend of Prince's.
Well, who hasn't?
Yeah. Vanity, her name was. Sorry, she's no longer with us. But this whole sequence, by the way, I skipped through it, and I'm really glad I did, because I measured from where Cliff and Carruthers were spying on them with binoculars and everything to the end of that sex scene was 4 minutes 26 seconds, which is about 3 minutes longer than Jim Bennett walking along with a sad tune playing over the back of it. And that felt like fucking ever.
It just goes on and on for ages. And I was like, this is. He was wearing white trousers, though, which is brave. There again, he's young. He's probably fine with it, yeah.
Carruthers seems to take a closer look because they've gone inside, rubbing their hands with glee, and decides to take an inconspicuous helicopter to do that, just in case Ragnar might be around watching. And then at that point, somebody stows Cliff's head in. It turns out to be Pirate Punk or
yes, Pyramid's there because then Captain Beardface comes into the house with a load of other people and some lookalikes after they've done.
I got very confused by
after they've done a sex. They're lying in bed, and he says we should do it again. And then Beardface and some lookalikes come in, and he's like, "This looks familiar." That's like the worst pun. Something like that.
Something like that.
He's put then they're in the house. They look nothing like him as well, but they're walking about outside. So Carruthers is fine with it because he's like, "All right, they've been and gone and done it. Go back outside, get some fresh air and a smoke." But they're then on a helicopter with Beardface.
So the whole point was to say to the army, so this is where it's revealed that Carruthers is not all that he appears. But the army are also there. There's like an army general or somebody with a meathead face. So the whole idea is that they're going to go down with a chopper to check on them, but then they switch them and everything appears to be fine. They take off in a helicopter. It's not the best plan, because if you were Ragnar looking in on it, you'd be like, well, why is the fucking army there? I'm not going to do anything.
But
shit trap, isn't it?
He goes, surprise, it's me in the helicopter. I'm just like,
this is my single best.
He rolls his eyes back in his head and goes,
surprise!
And it turns out it was Ragnar all along, Commander Beardface.
Can I do my bit here? Because he takes off his aviators to show his eyeliner. He says he's Ragnar by saying, "I'm Ragnar." He's laughing all this time as well. He strips off his facial hair, laughing and going, like, "It's me," sort of thing. Looks a little bit like Amy Winehouse at that point. And he rips off his wig to reveal his own hair. And then at only this point, Hot Babe says, "Oh my God, it is Ragnar."
She's quick on the uptake.
The lack of beard and the eyeliner I could have forgiven, but no, he's put the wig on. No. They take him to the quarry, where Ragnar has like a weird throne made of exhaust or something. I wasn't quite sure. And he's like, "Oh, my little, poo puppets and all this sort of weird stuff." He's like, "Now we will..." Oh, he takes the disc out of Cliff's bike as well at this point, doesn't he? Because one of the army guys says, "Oh, there's something wrong with your saddlebags or something." And he's like, "Oh, no, it's meant to be like that." And then they steal it out of that. So he has the disc now. They're just waiting for some reason. I can't remember. Yeah.
Well, they've got to bring him out in a cage, aren't they?
They say, "Now for some entertainment." It brings them out in a cage, and they're all throwing food at him and leaping on it. They drag him out. Someone threatens Hot Babe with a rubber snake. clearly rubber snake going like that with it. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna kill you now.
I just want to point out some of the dialogue that Velvet Ragnar Carruthers says. Shit on modesty and gorge it back. Doesn't make sense. Savor your master and mistress of the shit heap, you worms. I also noted his whip has got bells on it. Can't see any need for that.
Innit?
And he also says, orgasm, you turdy revelers. Which the Finnish helpfully translated as orgasmica starsteinen jovlaki, which is probably not how you pronounce any of it. Oh, and he hands out some pills
like a big handful of pills from a muffin tray.
Half of it.
So he's like a sort of non-union him and Joe, isn't he, from Fury Road, isn't he? Yes, holding on to the water. He's going to kill him, and Starboy says, no, let me fight Pyramid there, you bum boy. I think he calls him or something, doesn't he?
He calls him a Japanese fruit fly.
Such a piece.
Yeah, he basically insinuates that he's the one that takes it from Ragnar.
Yeah, from this point, the dialogue
it gets very non-progressive at this point.
It was never brilliant. By the way, Hot Babe was about to get raped.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah. And they just glossed over that. So
it's not terrible. They did threaten her with a rubber snake, which is in a way worse.
Especially in 500-degree heat.
In a quarry.
He says to take them, my puppies, and grind them well. But that's Starlad says that he wants a one-on-one with Pyramid so that he's got a chance with a real man. Homoerotic undertones. So then there's a death match. Starlad kicks him. He does that sort of Jackie Chan thing where he runs up his body and kicks him in the head and then flips, which is cool. And then grabs another assault rifle and then just starts shooting indiscriminately at the crowd.
One guy was like, I've only been here one day. I don't know what the plan is.
He does this at the same time as an army chopper turns up.
That guy with that machine gun thing on there, he's having a whale of a time, that lad. He's randomly, indiscriminately firing. He was there at Waco as well, I'll bet.
Yeah. They also, the punks don't help themselves by stacking all the explosive barrels next to one another.
Never played a computer game. Red barrel explosive. But they all try and get away very slowly, apart from some of them who are still loyal to Ragnar at this point. And he goes to speak to Robert Englund, who's like, oh, we can activate the thing remotely. It's all in this big silver briefcase. Take it with you. I'll stay here and not do anything. So,
I don't know what that was all about.
Well, he's done his bit. He don't want to get involved.
Ragnar goes and gets him like a big articulated lorry and drives off. Hot Babe and Starboy push through, and
the army pour over the hillside, heedless of cover. I put. It was like that, and there's like jeeps run into it, and like that would be useless for like ground.
One guy does do the ground position from the Irish, the German lad from Thingy, so that made me laugh. Then he gives chase on his motorbike. Ragnar is in the thing trying to activate it, but he's out of range.
His password is
the end.
Good, isn't it?
I slowed it down to half speed to get the password because I thought it was going to be something cool, and then it just shows up anyway.
It's very polite tech though, because it's like, thank you for inserting your password.
Insert.
And he drives up to this dam where the water is going to be mixed with the rain. Again, we've learned one thing from this film: it's don't store two things next to each other that shouldn't be stored next to each other, such as grenades and petrol, or petrol and more petrol, or water and radiation.
This dam actually has a name. It's called Big Tujunga Dam Number 1.
It is, yes.
That's a great name for a dam.
I don't know. I prefer Big Tujunga Dam Number 3. That's my favourite of all the Big Tujunga.
Well,
that's the George Lazenby of Big Tujunga Dams.
He runs off, and then he like sort of lies in wait, giggling to himself.
he comes out with a lot of weird stuff. He says to the thing, because he's out of range, he goes, picky, picky, which is he's chuckling to himself. He arrives at the dam and says, I win. Picks up a crowbar and waits. Oh, he picks up a crowbar.
Picks up a
and
handful of
big
flowers
daisy.
and like bounces off across the top of the dam with them. Hides around the corner of this office building that's there for some reason. And Starboy appears on his bike and drives it. Does he drive the bike down the dam? Or does he just start?
He drives it along.
Yeah, he crowbar in the wheel. He flips off it.
And then the motorbike goes down the dam. Yeah. I must have been really sad at this point because I put so many bikes lost.
That's the third one.
But the way he skids, he ends up hanging off the edge of the dam, but that's not the way he skidded off his bike. And I was like, how's he got there?
Let me get damn fight.
Yeah, Ragnar explains that he's a hermaphrodite and therefore he's male and female and therefore better. And Starlad says that he's actually only half of each, but he's a whole man. And I was like, you.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's going through some stuff.
Well, he's had sex now, hasn't he? So he's a whole man.
I think at this point, Ragnar says, well, you're never too young to die. Hey! And then they fight on top of this thing.
Starlad bites
spinning
his tit.
jump, roly poly.
Bites his tit, yes. Which I was like, I don't like that. He tries to stick his big tongue in his mouth again. With
he tries to get Ragnar to deprogram the device, and he says it can't be done. And then he says, "You really are like a."
So not only does he hate men, hermaphrodites, and women.
But his love with Cliff is pure.
Starboy ends up dangling off the dam, and Ragnar is like tapping his fingers with the crowbar and doing like a villain's speech.
All safety issues were, I wasn't on the edge of my seat because
you can clearly see the safety line holding you on. But then, in a moment of brilliance, Starboy remembers all his twirling training, twirling, and hurricanranas him off the top of the dam. He gets his legs around his head and like flips him off the dam. A dummy in transvestite's clothing.
Yeah. You mean that wasn't Gene Simmons?
The amount of shit they chucked off that dam, I bet that's still there in the water, that motorbike. Fucking plod it off there. Anything you want to an old mattress or out, chuck it off here, it's fine.
Starlad stabs him with his own finger.
Oh, yeah,
and then heals him off, because that was excruciating. I hated that as well. Yeah, I hated that. Hot Babe casts him the Explodinator, which she's been carrying in the helicopter nearby, because Starlad doesn't want to. He can't deprogram it. He can't do anything. So he thinks just fucking destroy the device.
All the stuff is activated.
But he does that thing
as well.
Yeah, and it's moving in slow motion. So he shoots the thing, and it just goes, ew, and like this little bead of light just plops out. So it's clear that the Explodinator isn't doing much anymore. So how does he resolve this situation?
He yeets both of them off the dam, but clear 5 seconds apart from each other. So one of them would be like exploding Gene Simmons and the bike, and the other one would, but they collide in midair.
All I can say is that he didn't cheat on his trigonometry exam because he got that fucking spot on.
Time to save the world. Yeah, it explodes, and apparently exploding the device is enough to cancel tip the radiation into the water command that it had. They arrive back at the army base,
and then it's the final scene really. There's the general. I don't think the general's ever really introduced,
generic
so I don't know what his
man,
name was. He offers him and Cliff a job, but not Hot Babe.
Because he says, there's always going to be situations like this. And he's like, nope, I'm going back to school. And then Hot Babe...
There's always going to be situations with,
Hot Babe,
These
situations with them all the time. Hot Babe's like, oh, you think you can go back to English 101 now after this? And he's like, yep. Peace. Him and Cliff get in the June buggy. Can we borrow a car? They give him the June buggy because they don't want that. And they just take it for a razz around on the field.
Yeah, so he sort of like, I thought, and it would have been a stronger ending if they just ended it there with him dumping her. But
they rat around a tree and come back, and they're like, "Come on, love, get in." Only joking. And then they drive off while Stargrove probably plays in the background.
No, it's a song called "Never Too Young to Die."
Yes.
I didn't listen to that.
And then it ends. It's not as good as Stargrove, mate.
No, it's not as good as Stargrove.
No, well, I just want to point out as well that Hot Babe's last line was about going and seeing Ragnar's corpse.
Yeah.
Because you just got to or something.
A lot of fun.
What are you suggesting? That we go and fuck up a corpse? What's wrong with you?
Genitals and see what it's like.
You just left her. Weird film.
Ladies and gentlemen, was Never Too Young to Die on a scale of, was it 1 to 15 of various shades of Fabios? Yeah.
Fabio.
Many shades of Fabio. How many Fabios and what colour would you give this?
This was quite clearly a 3 golden Fabio situation. I really enjoyed this film to the point I didn't make many notes.
As soon as the action kicked off, my notes went out the window because I'm like, yeah! Give me that tomato.
I was gonna give it 1 gold Fabio, but because of the dodginess of it, especially in that final third, where it just is anti-LGBT and hermaphrodites for no reason at all, and fucking up corpses, I'm going to bust that down to 3 silver Fabios.
I'm going to go with 1 gold Fabio because, as I said, apart from the third act, it was cracking. It had everything. It had a bar where you couldn't get served. It had exploding bikes that do no damage whatsoever. Yeah. It was tremendous. And also, those 2 guys that beat him up in the house, they should have their own show. Like a cookery show. That was that. It's time for...
So that was
Never Too Young to Die.
Too Young to Die Old or whatever. 1986. That was the same year that brought us Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, Karate Kid Part 2, Aliens, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I felt this had a very strong vibe of Ferris Bueller, just with Cliff, I think.
I was going to say Ferris Bueller went and met a
Ferris Bueller too.
It probably would have played out the same way.
Goes to the Kawanga Wanga Dam.
Number 2.
It had a budget of $3 million, which is $7.5 million
money well spent,
today, or just over 5. No, it wasn't. Just over £5 million. It made back at the theatres. It had a theatrical opening at 75 theatres and grossed just $129,508. So
that $3 million is all there on screen. You can see it.
Yeah, you can see it being wasted and all the motorbikes that are going off dams.
They exploded a load of stuff. They lost 3 bikes.
For art.
Can you imagine?
So for that money, for just over $5 million, I've broken this down. You could order the Gene Simmons home experience for 108 consecutive days.
You got to film in what Gene Simmons home experience is.
You might be wondering what the Gene Simmons home experience is. It costs you, I've got it up here on the screen, it costs you, it's scaled in price. Gene Simmons will come to your house for $50,000 and just do whatever you want. Apparently, he will give you stuff from his vault. That sounds fairly dodgy, but it's probably all the props from this. And yeah, he'll just come to your doorstep, spend 2 hours hanging out with you and up to 25 of your closest friends, which is very specific.
Very bold of him to assume I have 25 closest friends.
Well, yeah, that's pre-COVID, isn't it? You can also, I thought, you sort of channeling Cliff, you might also want to create an army of robotic dogs, 45,000 strong, which are on Amazon for just shy of £200, and they're walking, self-balancing, ball tracing, face recognition software, ultrasonic ranging, and have a camera.
Okay.
I thought I was
that's good. I'd like an army of dogs. Still want my army of crows, but we're working on that.
Well, I mean, it could be like a butler to your dog Sam, really.
He does now himself, yeah.
It's like a monkey thing. I just thought it'd just spend the whole lot on an island and you could make it into a fight island, just like in the last film. So I had a look for islands from privateislandsonline.com. You can get Big Gull Island in Alaska for $3 million, Loud Island in
I don't want to go there.
$3.2 million. And the worst one of all that I came across was Villa Innocence in the British Virgin Islands for $3.5 million. You're shaking your head, but you're right. No, say yes.
I think isn't that where like Epstein and all them lot?
It does have a very strong Epstein vibe about it. It's full of pyramids.
He was into pyramids. Yeah, there's like a weird thing of pyramids and like sexual energy and stuff. Apparently, it's one of them weird new age things.
Yeah. So actually, with like the Big Gull Island in Alaska for $3 million, you could probably populate that with your
like that weird Japanese cat island that's just all cats, feral cats on it, but robotic dogs. You got to go there every day and change all the batteries in them. Oh, it never end, would it?
Isn't that a Greek myth? I don't know. So working on this, the director was Jill Bettman. It was just a regular jobber. Worked on Knight Rider, Twilight Zone, and Fall Guy. Story was by Stephen Port. Yeah, there was a story there. He's got a very weird sort of backstory. He's responsible for films such as Baby Geniuses, Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2, Baby Geniuses and the Space Baby, and The Karate Dog.
It's not robotic though. Just a regulation normal dog that does karate. Yeah, he's the
regular
apparently
he's the entire writer of the Baby Geniuses series. Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah,
fucking weird. There was a screenplay as well. Anthony Fuchs, only 4 writing credits, and it shows. And then I got onto the cast, and I thought, know about George Lazenby, know about Gene Simmons. I'm not going to do them. I'm going to look at everybody else. John Stamos wrote a lot about this film. He said, I just thought, this is my shot, a young James Bond. And I thought it was going to be the biggest breakthrough. I'm done with TV. I'm going to be a movie star. And then I did that piece of shit. He said,
it's all right.
He took gym lessons to get that good. He did do a lot of that himself. He broke his ankle doing that. So there's a thing. And he also said the movie found a buyer at the 1985 American film market, but it bombed upon release. It was hard to find in theatres, but was playing at a nearby drive-in. I brought a chick, he said. It didn't do any good.
Why would you take someone to go and watch you in a film anyway? That's so tacky. Yeah, no.
Yeah. He later found fame on, I think, very next year on ABC's sitcom Full House, which also starred Hallmark megastar Candice Cameron Bure. So I think like a few people from that, because it's like that
American
sort of cushy sitcom, late 80s, early 90s thing. They just harvest that for future stars of Hallmark, for the Hallmark machine. Danger was Vanity, real name Denise Matthews, minor 80s pop hit with Nasty Girl. I don't know, half of you'll know. She was Prince's girlfriend for a time. I think all the songs were released under Vanity 6, and it was all written by him. She had a drug overdose in 1994 after the haze of the 1980s and decided to become an evangelical Christian. And she died in 2016. John Stamos said at the cast meet and greet at dinner held at the Cinerama Dome in Hollywood, the Nasty Girl singer put her hand down my pants before appetizers started coming out. He recalls, she completely seduced the shit out of me.
Did he not have an apple handy?
Besides the waiter, can you get me an apple?
Apparently. And a Brit pick.
Give me a fruit shoot.
Apparently, he got more and more irritated by her as the shoot went on because she was just insane. Kept playing with the props and stuff like that, and I think she was in a weird death drive.
That's why she wanted to get her baps out so
Ragnar,
bad,
Well, I think there was a thing in the early 90s. Before she became an evangelical Christian, she said that she wasn't going to star in sexualized roles anymore, and then just ran out of work. So I think it was a seedy sort of industry to be a part of. In fairness to her,
I don't think going out with Prince does you.
She later went out and burned everything that she owned, including loads of like rare Prince stuff. Yeah, she had a hell of a time. Oh yeah, Pyramid as well was played by Ed Brock. Probably not his real name. That was his only acting credit, unfortunately. And then lastly, Peter Kwong was playing Cliff. He's starred in bleeding everything. TV appearances, as I said, in Wonder Woman. He was also in an episode of The A-Team, Miami Vice, MacGyver. He later starred in Full House with Stamos. King of the Hill. He did an episode of King of the Hill. A video for Ed Sheeran that I can't fully place on his resume. And he was also in Curb Your Enthusiasm for like.
So he's a jobber. Fair enough.
Yeah. He's starred in some interesting films. Police Story: Gladiator School in 1988. Sorry. Something called Gleaming the Cube, which is about
skateboarding. Yeah, I've seen that.
It's got a very interesting trailer. And Steel Justice.
That sounds good.
1987. Steele is an ex-cop and Vietnam vet who is determined to bring down Quan, former South Vietnamese general and now rich and powerful drug lord. It's got an excellent poster. And then my favourite one was Big Trouble in Little China, 1986.
Have you never seen Big Trouble in Little China?
I've never seen that.
Mate,
That sounds amazing.
It's really good.
Amazing.
It's Kurt Russell. It's Kurt Russell and
I had a quick look at it.
what's she called? The lass from Sex and the City. Kim Cattrall. Kim Cattrall's in it as well as when she was young and attractive before she went all slacky. I'll call that.
He also studied Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, and as a result, he does many of his own stunts. And he does sort of like Tai Chi Chuan and stuff like that. He sounds like a legitimately awesome dude.
But when he's doing his Tai Chi, does he make this noise? When he's attacking people.
That's his signature.
When you hear that sound, you've got minutes to live.
Sixth Semper James facts.
I feel like you should have ended on Finnish, really.
Oh, mate, yeah, you balled that up.
I've learned so much.
I now know how to say shit balls in Finnish.
Right, Michael O, 5 stars out of 5, 2010. Let me break down why this movie is fucking awesome. John Stamos plays himself as he tries to stop a power-mad hermaphrodite, Gene Simmons, complete with fake tits, from taking over the world. You're going to get mullets galore, ninjas, barbarians, Robert Englund, a sometimes coked-up vanity, a really out-of-place George Lazenby cameo, a plucky Asian sidekick, and Gene Simmons trying to seduce Stamos with a super creepy special effects hermaphrodite boobs. He's very fixed on these boobs. So unbelievably bad, it comes back on itself and ends up in Citizen Kane territory. Have mercy. Have mercy.
He's right. It does circle back around from being so shite, it gets good again.
Yeah.
I will legitimately probably watch this like once a year. Just because, it's just one of the films you go back.
On the anniversary of this
it's just one of the ones you just, you tell people you need to watch this. It's great. Yeah.
Yep. Right. And because Joe likes a bit of a good name instead of just standard names for reviews. This one is by Meow Minx. 2 out of 5.
Meow Minx.
2017.
You Minx.
After School Special. Acrobat Boy Rambo versus the cackling evil
Everyone's
hermaphrodite.
Focused in on that hermaphrodite part.
Yes.
It's just people like you and me.
But better.
Because you're a hoe, man. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall when this bizarre mess was brainstormed. It's essentially what you might get if you were to take on 80s kids after school special about a sullen outcast teen, Lance, discovering his inner strength to save the day. Crossbred it with a 70s apocalyptic action film. Then tossed in Robert Englund in a bit part, Gene Simmons as a cackling psycho hermaphrodite called Velvet, and produced the whole mess in a shoestring budget, most of which was seemingly dedicated to hairspray. The result is watchable enough to avoid falling all the way down to 1 star, but only because I find it amusing to stare in disbelief at a low-budget cinematic
3 million, mate.
Wasn't that low budget?
3 million.
Yeah. Also, interesting use of tossed.
Yeah. Again, Robert Englund doesn't. He has like 6 lines in the whole thing. He's not. Robert Englund will appear in anything.
They're all just picking out this.
I think you're right. Like I said, genuinely thought this was great. Of all the films we've done, this is up there in terms of greatness.
And then I like to end on a snappy one. So this is Hal J, 5 out of 5. Again, from 2017. Never too young to lol. Stamos' hair and Vanity's chest should have been given top billing to share. Brackets, if you dislike this film, you have no soul. End bracket.
He's right. Yeah. Knowing what I know about Vanity, that makes it slightly sadder that she was like chinged up all the time. But
yeah.
And then Horny Kev.
Oh, fucking Horny Kev's back.
Joe, is this you?
I think he was one of the punks.
He is the guy who wrote the entire lyrics out to the Stargrove song.
Tremendous work.
No way.
Oh, he didn't write the song.
I thought he was going to say that he wrote
them. Read them out.
Music underneath.
Right, so after he's done the lyrics, he says, this should have been released as a single. It should have been #1 on Billboard's charts for months. Absolute perfection. And Gene L. Simmons should have won an Oscar for the best performance in '86. Absolute genius. I haven't seen this movie in over 10 years, but it still sticks in my mind. Gene sticking his middle finger on Vanity's chest and manically shouting out, Stargrove! The gay dance sequences. The unrequited love of poor Cliff for his Mondo Studley friend and hero. Gene's performance of It Takes a Man Like Me to Be a Woman Like Me. Some of these lyrics, of which were so good, incidentally, that Gene recycled and used in the song Spit on the album Revenge.
It must be I'm going to say Kiss, yeah.
This whole movie rocks. I can't believe it is out of print, and I can't believe it isn't available in digital format yet. You can't go wrong with this movie.
Well, the thing was, it was lost for a long period of time, and then they...
That was in 2003, yeah.
And the Finns brought it back.
No, and then again, someone found an old reel of it and released it digitally and stuff, and it has become like a cult sleeper film now because it's tremendous, isn't it? Horny Kev. He might be horny, but he speaks the truth.
No, he's got horns on his helmet.
He's one of the. Yeah. He played Pyramid. He played Pyramid.
He's one of them.
This week's podcast of greatness is from the podcast that wouldn't die.
Welcome to the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
What up, what up?
Each week, we'll explore the classics of the horror and sci-fi genre with a little comedic twist.
We will ask those important questions like, why don't they get out of the haunted house the first time they see the ghost or the demon?
Why do people feel like, hey, there's been a spooky disappearance, but I'm going to investigate myself, even though I have no investigative background?
Or, why didn't I realize I was dead the whole time?
These important questions and many others we will get to the bottom of. So check us out each week at the podcast that wouldn't die.
Be there or be square.
Oh my God, he was dead the whole
podcast
time.
That wouldn't die. Each week, different horror films dissected and stuff. They did a very good episode on Hard Candy, which is not an easy film to make funny. Because, if you want to see a man have his balls cut off. Yeah. But yeah. No, it wasn't the thing. It wasn't with that. It wasn't with that. But yeah, go and give them a listen. In conclusion, that was Never Too Young to Die. Can I have your favourite quotes?
Oh my God. It is Ragnar.
Find you might like it, but all that you find for is all that you got.
Running through a danger zone. Are you gonna stand alone?
That's enough of that.